Hey guys, Pete Mundo with you. Time for our 5-minute recap of the weekend that was in the Big 12 Conference. We'll go through all 5 games, tell you what it means, and please do subscribe to the page if you don't already. All right, we'll start with the Friday games. Baylor-TCU was the first one to kick off, and bit of a scare there. You got to give Matt Rule's guys credit that they have fought through the end of the season, and Charlie Brewer is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12 Conference when all is said and done, when his career is over in Waco. He is poised beyond belief for a true freshman. He's got good parts around him. And don't forget some of the pieces they have coming in. They had the Clemson offensive line transfer, Jalen Hurd's back as well from Tennessee, the transfer there. So there's reason for optimism in Waco. That being said, this game was all about TCU punching their ticket to the Big 12 championship game. But they will be without Nick Orr for the Big 12 title. Their starting safety, as he was involved in that skirmish, brawl, whatever you want to call it, on the sideline, and he's going to miss the first half of the game against OU. So that's a big loss right there for TCU in that game. We'll move on to the night game. Tom Herman and Texas blowing it against Texas Tech. Kliff Kingsbury saves his job as a result. Not sure if this game was actually a game-saving win for Kingsbury, but it was announced after the game by Kirby Hocutt that Kingsbury's coming back. I think it's the right move because I'm not sure where else Texas Tech would have gone that is a whole lot better. So if you can get a guy in there that you think is starting to turn the corner or will soon turn the corner and is building this program up, then it makes sense. So they're keeping Kingsbury. Herman ends the regular season on an incredibly sour note, and Tim Beck is once again drawing an enormous amount of criticism from this fan base, rightfully so. That last interception by Ellinger, throwing the ball there on 3rd and 2 when you're milking the clock, made absolutely no sense. I could not figure that one out. Herman had no answers after the game, and it's another 6-6 season for Texas. It is. And it ends on an incredibly disappointing note, and the coaching staff is a big reason to blame. It is. So let's go to Stillwater, Oklahoma, where Oklahoma State gets that big win over Kansas, as you would expect. And how good is Vegas? This was a 40-point spread, and what was the final score? 58-17. Unbelievable how sharp those guys are. Senior day for Mason Rudolph, James Washington, several others. And you look at it and you say, all right, they smoked Kansas. They're supposed to do it. In the end, this is still a disappointing season for Oklahoma State, a team that I thought could reach the college football playoff. On top of that, for Kansas, they announced that David Beatty's coming back. Not surprised at all. It looked like over the past month that the program was trending to making that decision, sticking with Beatty and saying, we are going to see this thing through. The problem is, where's the line? Does he get 1 more year, 2 more years? At what point does Kansas have to start winning football games to say, all right, Beatty's our guy or Beatty isn't our guy? That would be something I'd be interested in finding out from the folks at Kansas. We'll go to the other game Saturday afternoon. First off, Farmageddon. Yes, awful play call or awful officiating at the end of that game. If you're an Iowa State fan, I understand if you're still really ticked off with how that game ended. I get it. The picked up flag on the late hit on Kyle Kemp, the picked up flag on the pass interference were both probably the wrong call. The pass interference call bothered me more that they picked that one up than the late hit on Kemp. But Skylar Thompson is now a toast of the town in Manhattan. People forget who Jesse Ertz is, and it gives K-State great momentum as they go into the offseason after their bowl game. They get the extra month of practice. They would have had that already. They were already bowling. But for Iowa State, it kind of ends the season on a bit of a sour note. Not just the loss, but losing, 3 of the past 4 games. And while Matt Campbell's not going anywhere, he said that after the game. I don't think he's going anywhere right now. I think at some point he will take a job that he sees as a can't turn down type of gig. But it looks like he's staying for now, which is huge for Iowa State. That being said, a disappointing end to this season for the Cyclones, as October was phenomenal. Going 4-0, beating 2 top 5 teams. Don't expect to keep that up, but ending the season like they did does sting a little bit. Still, huge reason for optimism in Ames and what's going on there with Coach Campbell and his staff. Lastly, Baker Mayfield suspended for just one series. Kyler Murray takes care of business. And that game to me was really a glimpse to the future of what Kyle Murray is going to be all about. Only a couple of passes, not the passer that Mayfield is, but boy, does this guy fly. He flies. Now, West Virginia, I don't even know if Tony Gibson made the trip. That's how awful that defense looked. And it is clear that this team is missing Will Grier like any team would miss their starting quarterback. But you take Will Grier off this team, and this West Virginia squad may have been the third worst team in the Big 12. The defense gets extra exposed when the offense is struggling, as it did throughout this game. And they've got to pick it back up on defense like they did last year with Rasul Douglas and those guys that helped that team compete for a Big 12 championship. So once again, I'm Pete Mundo, Heartland College Sports. Please subscribe to the YouTube page. A lot more video stuff is coming your way. Also, note, tailgate, HCS tailgate this weekend at the Big 12 championship game. I will be there. Find us on Twitter at Heartland_CS or our Facebook page, Heartland College Sports. We'll have more information coming on that throughout the week.